Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the new classical music alphabet, where we follow up on the implications of the three B's for all the other letters we can come up with in whatever alphabet we feel like working on. Well, we're up to letter N, as in Nancy. You know, there were lots of M's. We're going to have to go around to M several times to exhaust M. N, well, not so much. Actually, there are a lot of lesser-known composers who begin with N's who are marvelous, and we'll have to dig into some of those. But initially, well, some of these are lesser-known too, but still sort of major names within the universe of the letter N. I was thinking of doing Clemens non Papa, but, you know, that's that Renaissance composer, Clemens not the Pope. I mean, his last name was certainly not non Papa, and I really didn't think it would work to have an N that was non. In other words, he was a not N, I guess. I don't know, or under C for Clemens. It would have been interesting, but I just got tired thinking about it. So I said, let's skip Clemens non Papa and start with these three. First, Carl Nielsen. Someone just sent me an email saying, oh, please make Carl Nielsen one of the N's. What choice do I have? I'm happy to oblige. I mean, he's one of the biggest N's. Actually, I'm really happy that Carl Nielsen is one of the biggest N's because he always sort of gets shunted aside somehow. You know, it's like he's not Sibelius, or he's not this, or he just doesn't seem to get the approbation that he really, really deserves, because he was a major composer and a great symphonist, just sensational. Even in Denmark, they're always a little bit down on him. It's really kind of amazing. So Carl Nielsen is there, and as with everything in this series, you must give a composer and a recording. Identify a recording, because we're building discographies for people who don't know these composers that well. And, you know, some of you do and some of you don't. But if you don't, I just delete your post. I don't want to delete your post. Give me the recordings. You know, follow the rules. Do it right. There we go. Nielsen, Symphony number 4, the Inextinguishable, with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Jean Martinon on RCA. This is one of the great sleepers. In fact, the two great recordings of Symphony number 4. I mean, two of the really greatest. This one and the Alexander Gibson recording on Chandos, which I always recommend also. I mean, it's one or the other, depending on my mood. But this is absolutely fabulous. I mean, my goodness, and he was French, and what did he know about Nielsen? Well, it just goes to show that perhaps one of the reasons Nielsen isn't as big a deal in Denmark as he deserves to be, except as a song composer, where he's a household name. But in terms of like large orchestral works, it's because it might be that his style was just really universal. And it's universal, except the rest of the universe doesn't care because he was Danish. And in Denmark, they don't care because he's universal. So get the Martinon or the Gibson or one of the really great recordings of Symphony number 4. We talked about it. We did a repertoire thing. You can look and check it out yourself. What a great work. Exciting. 4 movements, all joined with a fabulous battle between two sets of timpani in the finale, leading to a glorious apotheosis. We can always use a glorious apotheosis. It's phenomenal. So go for it. Next, Vítězslav Novák. Now, you may not have heard of. He was really a major Czech composer from the first half of the 20th century. And he wrote really terrific music, but not so much in conventional forms. There was an early piano concerto that's nice, but like it's not like, you know. And there were, there are suites and other things like that, but no symphonies. Well, there are symphonies, but there's like a choral symphony, The Storm, which is marvelous. You know, not your usual kind of stuff. So it doesn't get a lot of attention, but he wrote a ballet. He wrote 2 ballets, actually. A ballet pantomime called Nikotina, about a snuff-addicted monk who hallucinates the female embodiment of his addiction. And oh my gosh, it's marvelous. And if you can get your hands on it, there's a suite, which doesn't give you all the good music. If you can get the whole thing, it's on Supraphon. You can see the listing down below. What a masterpiece. Phenomenal. And really, he wrote overtures and symphonic poems, which have been recorded. They're beautiful. They're a little bit like a Czech Delius, but with more rhythm. And they're really, really fine. So check out Novák. You're going to like him. Vítězslav Novák. There are a whole bunch of Nováks. There's also a later composer who's also very good named Jan Novák. So, but he's terrific. Look for the V Novák. And then last but not least, Conlon Nancarrow. Oh, wow. The American avant-garde composer who wrote almost exclusively for the player piano. So when I recommend the recording, it's just studies for player piano because it's not, there's no performer. The performer is the player piano. It's a device. He spent his life punching little holes in player piano rolls because he realized that you could do things on a mechanical instrument that human beings can't do, like use time signatures with irrational numbers, like, 2 over 5 pi. You could do all kinds of crazy things. And you could play vast quantities of notes. You're not limited to just, 10 fingers. And you could play things at insane mechanical speeds. His music is amazing. It's a world unto itself that really stretches the bounds of what music can do and be. And you should have at least one disc of his studies. They are so much fun. There's there are about 50 of them or so. Not a ton, but it took him years, to punch all the little holes to work on them all. And it really was something that could only happen in the 20th century. What a maverick he was. And the music is absolutely thrilling, I think. It's incredible. You can't listen to it in big quantities. It's very loud, mostly, because player pianos aren't exactly subtle. And dynamic range is not really one of the things that's built into his music so much. And it's relentless. It comes at you like a machine gun. So you should take it a little bit at a time, but it is a fascinating universe. You get a lot of bang for your buck, let's put it that way. In a short piece, there's a ton of incident that you can enjoy. So those are my 3 ends. I'm very interested to hear your 3 ends. Let it rip and keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.